Hey, grade sixes. It's like apples to oranges. It's a common enough expression, in at least in Canada, right? It's used to say when you can't really compare two things. It's like apples to oranges, right? They're nothing alike. If you bite into them, they're not anything close to the same. But what we're actually going to show you is you can compare apples to oranges in ratios, right? We're going to be exploring ratios. So what is a ratio? A ratio, I know we can't see that, so I'm going to zoom in, but a ratio, right? A ratio compares values, okay? It compares quantities with the same unit, right? So for apples and oranges here, we would have 3 to 1, all right? 3 to 1 apples to oranges. So we would represent that in a possible 3 different ways. Either we would say 3, right? 3, 2, 1 of apples to oranges, right? 3 to 1. Or we could have 3 to 1. We represent it as a fraction, right? Or and most commonly what we use is we use this colon. 3 compared to 1, right? And the order of this ratio is important. 3 to 1, right? It's important because 3 to 1 is not the exact same as 1 to 3. Because if we change it from 1 to 3, it no longer becomes apples to oranges, but comparing oranges to apples, right? So 3 to 1. There's different ways we represent that value, and that's the important thing for this. We can either use this colon, we can use the word to, or we can use a slash. And they all represent the same thing. All right? There are 2 types of ratios. There is part to part, and there's part to whole. All right? Part to part and part to whole. Part to part is when you compare one part to another part. Part per whole is where you compare one part to the whole lot. All right? So let's look at some examples for that. Some quick examples. If we have these, as we kind of established before, if we did apples to oranges, then we said it would be 3 to 1, right? 3 to 1 apples to oranges. But if we compared oranges to whole, to all the fruit, how many oranges do we have in all the fruit? It would be 1, 2, 4, because we have 4 fruit in total. Now let's say I'm trying to get healthier and I start adding some more fruit, all right? I start adding some more fruit. So what I have now is I have still 1 orange. If I'm doing orange to whole fruit still, I have 1 orange, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So that would be 1 orange to 7 fruit. All right, so the ratio has changed. Now if I said, how many circular fruit do I have compared to the entire bowl, it's not a bowl, but the entire amount of fruit, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 circular compared to 1, 2, 3, 7 whole fruit. If I wanted circular fruit compared to just bananas, it'd be 4 compared to 4 circular fruits to 3 bananas. All right, so a ratio is comparing one to another. One to another. All right, so apples to oranges. The next example we see this commonly is in baking, right? So let's say I'm making cookies, and I did actually. I made cookies the other day. You don't believe me? Bam, made these cookies. Okay, so I'm making cookies, and the recipe says that I need a 4 to 1 ratio of brown sugar to baking soda. All right, so remember they have to be in the same amount of units. So that means what we're comparing it is teaspoons. So 4 to 1. I need 4 2, 3, 4 teaspoons, right, of brown sugar to every 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So if the recipe calls for 4 to 1, that means this has to be my ratio. Now if I said I wanted to double the batch, I'd have to double this, but I can't change the ratio, right? It still remains 4 to 1. Last thing that you can do with ratio is you can work on scale. All right, so now scale, what it does is, this is my TV, let's pretend. Now this is going to be uploaded, so if you can't see it, that's okay. We can pull it up. So this TV is 100 centimeters by 50 centimeters, and let's say you wanted to draw it. So you're going to draw this TV. If you're drawing, you're obviously not going to want to draw 100 centimeters by 50 centimeters. That's a big drawing. So you draw it to scale. So if you want to draw it by 1/10 of its normal size, you're going to divide all sides by 10. So 100 centimeters divided by 10 will be 10 centimeters. So then the scale of a TV that is 10 by 50 would be, 100 by 50 would be 10 by 5, right? That's to scale. So this is 1/10 of the size that this is. This ratio is 100 to 50, 100 centimeters to 50 centimeters. This would be 10 by 5, all right? So look at the assignment, right? Look at the assignment. What you're supposed to be doing is supposed to run around your house and you're trying to find 2 examples of ratios that you can see. I gave one, I did apples to oranges, right? I did another one, I did the recipes. 4 scoops of brown sugars to 1 scoop of baking soda. So that's exploring ratios. Have fun, explore, and that's ratios. How do you like them apples?